Tactical Thoughts Hurt, where we think so you don't have to. And now, your Rohan Overlords.
Alright, and welcome to the third episode of Tactical Thoughts Hurt. Now, before we actually get to some tactical thoughts, we wanted to hit on some of the new movies that have come out recently. Let's start with Thor Ragnarok. I mean...
That was an amazing movie.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, like... There may be a few little spoiler alerts here for the two movies that we're going to talk about, but...
It's been out long enough.
Yeah, I mean, but Thor... Yeah, if you haven't already seen it, what the hell. But yeah, no, I think that movie was fantastic. It was a lot of funny.
It was very funny, especially the first few minutes where you just see Thor like on the chain in circles around the.
Like, hold on, wait a second.
Wait a second, I gotta wait for it to come back around again.
And that was what I found interesting about it was that it was very, very funny, and there was a lot of comedy throughout, but it never made me think, okay, we're at the too far part. You know, we're never hit that. Okay, this is too much.
Right. It never went. Yeah, it never went too over the top with some of the jokes. Of course, some of them were quite funny with the melty stick.
And I do think they were trying to be lighthearted, a la Guardians of the Galaxy, right? And they were trying to bring some of that in with, with a lot of their cosmic storyline that's going on now. But I think they made it work, and it's a good, lighthearted lead-in to what I think will be a much more serious Infinity War.
Mm-hmm. Definitely made Thor and Loki and Hulk definitely more humanistic characters. Like, they had more human qualities to them.
And having the Hulk be the Hulk that long, he got more articulate.
That was funny.
Yeah, no, like, that was funny. He was doing practical jokes. It was very, like, there was almost a little edge of the old Peter David Hulk from back in the day.
It was. I'm trying to remember a few of his lines, but I can't.
Yeah, no, but yeah, no, I really, really enjoyed the movie. There's lots of little... Now, Jeff Goldblum's character was very... Well, he was funny. He was there to be comedy, but it was very, very good comedy. Like...
It was.
It's hard to put my finger on it, because, like, you watch a movie like Deadpool, and it's funny, and it drives its story, and then you watch Guardians of the Galaxy, and they're funny, and they drive the story, but, like, I feel like Thor Ragnarok took it to just a different level. I mean, it's still... I mean, not to diminish anything about Guardians of the Galaxy or Volume 2, because they were amazing. But Thor, I don't know. And my hat's off to the director, because not only did he keep this whole show moving, not everything was 100% believable, I guess. But when you watch the movie, it doesn't matter. But then when he brought himself into the film with Korg...
Some of his stuff was kind of funny.
Oh, no, that dude made the movie for me. He was amazing.
It's another revolution.
Another day, another Doug. It was too good. Definitely recommend going and seeing that. I gotta say, I got a different feeling about Justice League.
Justice League, the best animated movie to come out this year.
It was pretty much animated. DC has this horrible problem of overusing CG and glowy motion blur.
And yeah, just ruining their characters too. Way too much CG, like Cyborg's floating face syndrome. It just always looked like his face was floating. Like,
see, that one didn't throw me off near as much as Henry Cavill's mouth. His whole mouth area was CG, and I was like, so they're going, wait, I mean, he's not dead. Why did they do this?
Because they had to cover up his mustache.
Yeah, he was contractually obligated for another film or TV show or something to keep his mustache. So they had to actually go through all the expense to CG it out for the whole damn movie.
Which is weird, because if he's going to have that mustache, and if they make another Justice League movie or Superman movie, is he going to have a CGI face too?
Nah, not if he can shave. I mean, they tried to make it look natural, but there was just that slight bit of off.
It looked weird.
Like...
Something about his face just was odd.
Yeah, it was just enough to throw you and make you slightly uncomfortable. I don't know. It threw me off for the whole movie.
Or Wonder Woman's crab walking, blocking bullets in the first, 5 minutes?
No, that didn't bother me at all. I didn't...
It looks so weird, because she's like crab walking, blocking bullets, and I'm just like, this is odd looking.
It's the motion blur and all the glowy stuff that gets me. Like, all their villains throughout... I mean, I will include... Even though Wonder Woman's a great movie, I will include the final fight scene in that, there's too much blurry with glow. Like they did it in Batman v Superman,
and then they did it in Wonder Woman,
and now this. And I don't even want to talk Batman in this movie.
You mean Puss Batman?
Yes, Batwuss. All of a sudden, he went from the badass that he was in Batman v Superman that made me want to see more of him
to being a complete cudgel.
I mean, he was just like
he was cucked.
He was like, nope, nothing can happen. Like he goes from the guy that does everything alone to now we all have to sit around the campfire and hug one another.
Right.
Like,
in the comics and in the animated stuff, Batman's always been the one who's been against joining the whole Justice League. He's always been the one on the outside. He's come up with counter plans to take out the Justice League. What is he doing in this movie being the Kumbaya singer? It just didn't work. He should have been the last one to want to join.
Yeah. I mean, that's and then they didn't even need the league at the end. Really, all they needed was one guy.
All they needed was one guy with a CGI face
to come in and take off his glasses and whoop everyone's ass.
To slap the undercooked villain.
And the whole thing for me, and the reason why DC continues to, in my mind, fail at movies, not only all these visual problems, right? And those I can overlook if the story is great.
Well, if they'd stick to the comics, they would be fine.
And not even that for me. I think you have to have humanity, and we were talking about this at Etten the other day. If you've ever been around our little silly group of gamers, and you'll get to see more of us on the Twitch stream eventually, but we sit around and discuss these things right before and after and during playing games too.
Yes. We'll spend a whole hour on one turn just because we were talking about something random that popped up.
But one of the things that got mentioned was the fact that all the great superhero stories, if you take the first Iron Man,
have amazing villains. Like, they have good villains.
Not just that. Not just amazing villains. A human story. An interaction with people. Wonder Woman's story was great, but they took a character that at face value was very two-dimensional. And they put her with people that draw the viewer in. And these regular people, these were just regular dudes, and I know there's plenty of historical inaccuracies in that movie, but
well, the fact that the villain at the end of that pulled an Emperor Palpatine, unlimited power, as he's shooting Wonder Woman with lightning.
But he didn't say do it. But
he was trying to draw her to the
dark side.
Get her
to the dark side. It was. Yeah. But even in that, the humanity of the story and the non-powered characters make it. I mean, you see it in Iron Man. You see it. They bring a humanity, and you lose that. And even though Lois Lane is there to provide that, all she is the calm down, evil Superman, become good again.
That was the only part of the movie I really felt tension was when Superman comes back, like wakes up and he's acting evil and stuff.
But then they neutered it like it was nothing.
I know. It's like, oh, well, he hasn't woken up yet because he was brought back from the dead. It's like, you know what? I would prefer an evil Superman as opposed to Steppenwolf just because.
Yeah, that would have been a cooler movie.
That would have been better. Zombie Superman and he's evil.
Yeah, that would have been a way cooler movie.
When he's talking to Batman and he's like, "Do you bleed? You will," and then throws Batman. Yeah, I was like, "That's cool."
Awesome. That was like the best part of the movie is when Superman was fucking crazy, and then the real villain is And this goes back to what you were saying about DC and their villains lately.
Like if they'd have gone with a better villain, because there's a ton of DC villains they could have picked. Why Steppenwolf?
I don't know, and between Batman v Superman and whatever that monstrosity was at the end.
Oh, Zombie-Zod? That's not even a.
Yeah, that's
not even a. Well, Doomsday is like in the comic books. Doomsday is a thing, and he is what kills Superman. But he's not. His origin isn't from being made out of Zod's body. That was this director making that stuff up. They could have gone with.
But visually,
anything.
it was like going back to the Hulk movie with. He looked like you took Abomination and put glowy things on him. And there's DC with all the glow, but so that was a villain that meant nothing. And then Steppenwolf is he's so flat. There's nothing to him. They never tell you what the big bad that he's going to do to the world. He's going to make some purple tendrils appear.
He's going to terraform his planet into being a hell on Earth.
But yet but mostly what he had was zombie bugs that couldn't even get past
Zombie
Terrorite.
bugs.
I mean, they didn't even find the family that was hiding out in that town.
Well, they get out. They're remember when Superman and the Flash are going to go save the civilians,
right.
And they grabbed the truck. That was that family.
But those civilians were hiding in that house for days and they were frightened off their ass. But apparently the bad guys that can smell fear.
Well, they can only smell Steppenwolf's fear.
Apparently. I guess they only eat their boss. If
they
he
only
starts
eat their
to
boss.
Fear.
Time for a pay raise.
Yeah, no, I thought the whole thing was fucking shaky, and I didn't like Batman in this movie, which made me sad because after Batman v Superman, I thought Batman's badassity was the redeeming quality for that movie.
And they turned him into a dick, like when he brought up Wonder Woman's dead boyfriend, when he's like, "Oh well, your boyfriend died or something, he's dead or something," and just pissed her off. I'm like, that's not a Batman thing. That's a dick thing. I'd
rather see Aquaman sitting on the lasso of truth.
Again, they could have had more of that. That was funny.
And I get it because when I see those comedic type characters and what they're trying to do with it, especially with Ezra Miller, I thought he did a good job as Flash. I know I'm going to get some backlash because maybe his attitude doesn't match what Barry Allen's is supposed to be. But I mean, as a character, if you'd never seen any other stuff and you watch this, he's endearing. But he reminds me of he's filling the exact same role that Spider-Man filled in Civil War to provide a level of something
comedic
relief and relatability in an otherwise blah movie.
Yes.
And because I didn't like Civil War either.
Barry is supposed to be a more funny kind of joking superhero. He's different. Like if you were to read some of his comics, the way his character interacts with his city is the people are more how Batman always hides and is in the shadows. Well, the Flash is more opposite that. He's he gets a museum made for him and he gets the key of the city and stuff, and people generally like him more. He's more of a jokey guy. Now no one knows his identity, but it's more a more presence positive community.
I gotcha. So, but and I again I liked his character and I liked a lot of the banter involving him. Like the race scene at the end, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
I think I wish DC would do this, but they've already got a Flash TV series going.
Yeah.
They should have just pulled the actor from the TV series.
That's what I hear. I mean, I've only seen a few episodes of that TV show, and I liked it. I saw.
Liked the Flash. They could, and you could do that with
Arrow because Arrow sucks.
But you could still pull those guys who are making those TV shows and pull them into it, and then you've already got your established characters. You already got your TV back lore and everything.
Right, and the fans of the TV show will recognize Barry. Oh, that's him.
So they make some questionable decisions, and they're probably not. They're probably going to have to do a reboot on the whole Justice League thing.
I was reading yesterday. Justice League's projected to lose about $100 million. It costs $300 million to make this. It costs
$300 million to make any money at all. They'd have to gross worldwide $600 million just to make back what they made.
That's nuts. Well, so they're going to lose about $100 million is what they're projecting.
They're going to lose money on this.
Which is going to cut, I think, probably going to end. Now, this is just me thinking here, but I think it's probably going to cut projects like the Aquaman movie they were planning and things like that.
Well, Wonder Woman 2 is already a thing. That's
because her movie
did really well.
Actually wasn't a shitball.
But there's been a lot of talk of what they're going to do is they'll do the Flashpoint. It's called the Flashpoint Paradox. With Flash in his lore, is what happens is he runs so fast backwards in time that he changes everything. So they'll use that as a reset. They'll be like, oh, well, Flash ran back all the way backwards in time, and now...
They'll pull a Days of Future Past with it.
Basically. They'll pull Days of Future Past and reset the whole thing.
Right. I got it. And they'll need it. I think
they do need it.
I'm definitely not a fan of what they've done with Justice League. Though I will go watch Wonder Woman 2. I think
I probably will. Hopefully they'll have the same like a supporting cast for Wonder Woman.
But I mean, what I've got to say to if you're out there, anyone in TV land or movie land planning to write a superhero movie, give us a villain that's good and actually hire a real writer that's read the material or something that knows how to tell a story and not have it just be about superpowered things blowing up on screen.
Yes, no more Superman. He's boring.
But Superman had 2 good movies. Back in 78 or whenever it was, the original Superman, or 79, the original Superman and Superman 2, they were filmed at the exact same time. They included the 3 villains from Krypton. Those 2 movies were actually really good.
Right. When Superman was fighting somebody who's on his level. But
even in the first one he wasn't. He was against Lex Luthor.
Okay, but meh.
And it was Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor, which was awesome.
Yeah. I don't like this Luthor that they got now.
You know, I don't hate him. I don't hate Eisenberg as Luthor. I just want more expansion. I want to see more villainy. I want to see more of what Lex Luthor does to manipulate things. And I don't know. There's just something missing, and I can't put my finger on it. It's not like I don't like him as a character. I like that he was playing both sides to try to make them fun. Like, I get the premise, but
right. But the fact that he outwits Batman.
Well,
of course, then again, in this move, in Justice League, Batman couldn't figure out what a box was.
Yeah, I believe it's.
I believe it's a box. It must have something in it.
Way to go, world's greatest detective!
I just imagine him shaking it and hearing something inside. There's something in it. Riddle me this, Batman.
Oh man. So, moving on from the world of movies and TV to something a little better, I guess. At least better than Justice League. Let's talk about a couple of board games.
Like Twilight Imperium, 4th edition.
That just hit shelves, a couple weeks ago or a week ago?
I think a week ago.
Yeah, and I had never played any of the previous editions of the game.
Me neither.
And but a friend of ours, Mike, has, and he just picked this one up, and then we've been playing the holy hell out of this thing.
It is a blast. I've been screwed several times on deployment, but
I haven't won yet, and I'm still loving it. And so
I haven't won a single game yet.
But it mixes a lot of cool elements. I mean, it's a very, very deep game, and let me warn anyone who's thinking about trying to play it. Not only is it amazingly fun and addictive, but it takes about 6 to 8 hours to play a game.
It does, and that's not including the random offshoot banters that'll derail a game turn.
You'll just sit there for an hour bullshitting while we're trying to basically convince one another to vote a different way.
Oh yeah, you can totally win on politics just by convincing other players to go your way and manipulating them.
So if you think about it, it's an empire building game, right? Sort of, but it's not in the traditional strategy way, right? Nor is it in the let's go bust up on each other like Risk kind of way, right? Mm-hmm. It's not just let's throw pieces into each other and roll dice. It's a multifaceted game. You build the galaxy. You pick one of 17 different races that all have their own powers and abilities. You build technology. You conquer planets. Once someone reaches the central planet, there's politics get involved. You start voting on galactic law that changes the face of the game. There's a commerce system. There's trade. You can win without firing a shot.
You can win without going to war with anyone.
And you could also win by firing lots of shots. And the objectives change every game. The layout of the galaxy changes every game. The laws are different, and it's all about. So like some of these things get brought up, and around our group, we're sitting there going, "Ooh, all right. If you vote for that one, I'll give you this."
Oh, it's totally fun to manipulate people. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, you're either like, all right, and so to see Tyler was ready to give Mike like 3 or 4 promissory notes for different favors.
Oh, that was funny.
Over one vote.
Over one vote. I made the other player cry.
But then in the last game, all you had to do was like, hey, Mike, you want to be able to research your own Death Star? Here you go.
That was funny. Otherwise, I was going to get empty space. So I was like, Mike, for that planet, I'll give you a Death Star technology.
It's like, okay, I'll take it. Sold. So there's a lot of that. There's a lot of knowing your players. There's a lot of politics. We just absolutely are in love with the game. And I'm sure at some point we'll be beating our heads. But I've only played 4 of the 17 races, so I'm ready to go for more.
I haven't done any duplicate races yet. I haven't played any, so. But I might go back to the humans just because they're really simple and fun.
Yeah, and they have those badass carriers.
They have badass carriers.
So, the other game that I've been really wanting to talk about is a tabletop minigame that is near and dear to us, and that's Valkyrie.
Valkyrie is a 15mm sci-fi game, and we've posted some pictures of it on our Facebook page as we played it. We love it. I
mean, and it's not completely traditional in like your 40K kind of way. It's very much more of a and it moves similar, right? You're going to measure out a certain number of inches for their unit, but you are trying to manage and force the other player to do things you want them to do rather than what they want to do.
Right. It's very tactical.
Very tactical, yes.
And it's integrated or threaded turns, so it's not like I'll move my whole army, then they move, they do their whole army.
No, it's
one unit back and forth until everything's done.
Yeah, so like whoever has initiative decides who goes first, and then that person activates a unit, gives it two orders. You can move, shoot, get down, take a building, whatever you're going to do, gives it 2 orders, and then the other player gets to go. And if you can kind of use what you fire at and what you move and which objectives you go for to kind of, you want to steer the other player, right? You want to be able to limit what they can do. And it's very tactical in that way, and it's just it's fun, and it actually kind of is the basis for the name of this podcast, because your head hurts when you're done.
Oh, your head, you get a migraine by the time you're done thinking, because there's so many things you can do, but choosing the right one is the hard part.
Right, and between turns, it's got a command phase where you basically are calling on high command to say, hey, we need more units, or hey, could you drop an orbital bombardment right over there? Thanks, please.
Right, the calling in units thing, that's a fun mechanic. If you get enough command points, you can call in anything from your collection to the board, as long as it's for that faction and you have the command points to do it.
Right, so like if you've come to a table with an army that you've built this list, and you're like, I want to play this. Then you come to realize that what you really need are some air support, or you really need some more anti-tank units. Well, then when you get enough command points, you can bring them on.
Yep.
You just got to try to get the objectives and what you need to do to get those command points.
It's simple, yet it's got depth to it.
Definitely. And so we are planning to do some streaming of that game as soon as we can, and we'll interview one of the creators of the game, and we'll talk about some of the forces behind it, and some of the factions, and give everybody a good background of the game, because we love it and we play it often, and the creators are friends of ours, and we'd like to see a community built around playing this game and others, because we play all kinds of shit. But so we did build our Twitch channel. So twitch.tv/tacticalthoughtshurt, all one word. We're going to be streaming some video games probably first, and then we'll get a Valkyrie. It'll probably be our first tabletop game. Will be a Valkyrie game.
Will be a Valkyrie game. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that'll be the first.
And we'll get that streaming up and get everybody's feedback on that. And you can always hit us up on our Facebook page. Facebook.com/tacticalthoughtshurt. My Twitter is at JamesC137. You can hit either one of us up individually on Facebook. So bring on the comments. We want to hear, hear Tyler raging again when we give him shit.
We gave him shit, and we're gonna give him more shit about how he cried when his
angel of death exploded
when Hoopty Prime took it to the face.
Oh, that was one of those epic moments.
It was.
With demoralization of the enemy.
Nothing feels better than
now he does want us to do a segment on Tyler rolling. And the bottom line of that is it's pure fucking voodoo, and he just rolls 6s for no ungodly reason. The only thing I can say is I hope I can roll enough 6s for saves and in assaults right back at him.
No, you just have to demoralize him to win. And then his dice rolls go out the window.
No, what I have to do is hold off assault Valkyries with one little anti-tank rifle squad.
Oh, that'll work.
See, and if you want answers to some of these inside jokes, you'll check out our Twitch stream on Valkyrie and go check out the game. Yep. ACP Games It's linked off of our Facebook page, so go check them out.
ACP Games stands for Art Crime Productions. I believe they go by ACP Games, but if you're trying to look them up, you can also look up Art Crime Productions as well.
I think all of us. I think the ACP Games crowd and us. We're planning to go to OwlCon at Rice University in February, so we'll be there and we'll be talking shit and goofing off and playing games
and embracing our inner Ferengi.
Always. And yeah, that's the thing is in Twilight Imperium, my favorite faction is the cat people, the Emirates of something. I don't
You
even
just like
Pakar.
playing Ferengi.
I like playing Let's Make a Deal. Oh, you can't trade with them yet? I can. So, all right. Well, I guess we'll close it out. And like I said, send us some comments, throw us bullshit, and we will be posting on the Facebook page when we're ready to start Twitch streaming. And so, everybody have a good one.